Concerning the level of abstraction, I think it's important to note that in the 70s we talked about the level of abstraction, going up higher definitions. Going up is what am I trying to achieve, going down is how can I do it. And I think this is basically what TRIZ tries to do, but TRIZ tries to locate all those different solutions. I mean, what is TRIZ about? You have a standard problem, a standard solution, and what is my problem, what is my solution? It's not trial and error, it's codifying and abstracting problems. It is also about the body of knowledge. What does TRIZ know? And it tries to map science, knowledge, things to know. As also said, somewhere there is a solution. Let's try to map it. Within a Boisot point of view, you could say the undiffusing is from person to universe, but going from concrete to abstract and from uncodified to codified, you would say I'm coding my problem, I'm abstracting my problem, and TRIZ gives me a solution. But then I have to go back, trying to make it practical and concrete. So this is basic how we can do it. TRIZ helps us to think about contradictions. Helps us to think about knowledge. So the fact that you make a contradiction is a form of abstraction. The small little dwarfs or small little people is something strange. I mean, it's iconic. You can see symbols, signs, symbol signs, but also you have to use the awareness of the small people. And with that, so with the icon and with the awareness, you try to solve the problem. I think this is what I would call whole brain thinking. You are using emotions and, let's say, logic together to solve your problem. I think the highest level of TRIZ is the Sous field, of course. I think it's symbolic, it's abstracted, it's even codified, a very good example. Amazingly, I seem always to end up thinking about this picture. This is the law of completeness. And what is amazing about this thing is that a very complex system, as we just had in the presentation earlier, you could describe a very complex system with only one function. This is fantastic. You only need a function to describe a very complex system. But as you know, we also use Sous fields, and Sous field is a very good thinking from the also in this team to use energy as a means to define the system. So next year, hopefully, we will be presenting a information or a attribute information, like in the substance field, attribute info. Okay, this is next year. So I would say TRIZ behaves a bit like a proto-science. For me, TRIZ is a proto-science. At this point, it looks like Boisot thinks about this model as static. It isn't static, it can also be dynamic. You can move around, and moving around means he has a 6-step learning curve, scanning, problem solving, abstracting, diffusing, absorbing, and impacting, going the whole way up and the whole way down. So in the textbook, you will find that we have applied this for Ives, and you can draw something like you see here in the picture. So moving up, moving up, moving up, trying to abstract, codify, but it's too detailed to give them all. And I think Gaetano will be pleased now for the conclusion. A lot of conclusions can be made. The first thing is, I would like to reach out to the community here to ask for a more scientific creation of what I call a base. And what is a base? That is parameters that are independent, but they are complete. What do I mean with complete? With complete you can describe everything, but they are also independent, so you only need two axes. The example I've given you is abstraction and codification. They are not so independent. I think the Boisot model delivers, for me at least, some new insights on the constraints of TRIZ. What does TRIZ do and TRIZ don't? Another interesting point to note is that it's about decreasing the amount of data. And is Dennis in the room or not? I can't see him. But I would say to Dennis at this point, Dennis, what I would say to you is you're always talking about many different steps and contradictions. One way to solve it or to circumvent this problem is to abstract it. Maybe you can abstract your 100 contradictions to the next level, and you will have less contradictions. This was a personal note to Dennis. On the other hand, I would say the magic in TRIZ cannot be deleted. You still need the tacit knowledge, you still need the creativity. What I would be very interested to do, and it will be written in our next book, is on codifying abstraction. So I just gave you some examples, but what is necessary is to even expand the knowledge on abstraction and even codify it more. And of course, I also would like to invite the total community to help with, in the paper you can have an overview of a list of a first effort to codify and abstract and let's say, codify all the at least several TRIZ techniques. I would invite the community to help in this and to expand it. Any answers, problems, questions? Thank you.